I'm attorney Richard LaGarde. I want to share with you 3 tips for a successful brain injury lawsuit. I've spent the last 30 years representing individuals with traumatic brain injuries, both in Texas and in Louisiana. And I've picked up a few tips along the way. Tip number 1, get to the right doctor who can diagnose and treat your brain injury. Now, I say that because brain injuries are often overlooked. For instance, we've had clients who've been involved in major auto collisions or tractor-trailer collisions, and they start to exhibit signs of a brain injury. For instance, I hear very often from spouses, "He's not the man I married. There's something different about him since the accident. He's forgetful. I'll tell him something and he forgets it right away. He gets lost in our own neighborhood. He has trouble balancing the checkbook or just doing simple math. He seems confused. He has problems with his emotions. He gets very angry at me and the kids. He finds himself in a room just crying for no reason." These are all examples of things that I've been told by spouses of people with traumatic brain injury. Oftentimes, those individuals were never diagnosed by their doctor, their general practitioner. And that's why I always recommend that the first thing you do if you suspect that you have a brain injury is go to a board-certified neurologist who can diagnose your symptoms and determine whether you have a brain injury or not. Now, there's one problem with brain injuries, and that is they're often hard to diagnose. So often, brain injuries are on the cellular level. They don't show up on x-rays, they don't show up on MRIs, they don't show up on CT scans. So you need a specialist who can find out whether or not your brain is operating correctly or not. And one of those specialists that we've learned over the years to rely upon is a neuropsychologist. A neuropsychologist is someone who specializes in giving tests to individuals to test their brain and how their brain operates. And that's sometimes the only way you can diagnose a brain injury. So, tip number 1, get to a board-certified neurologist for diagnosis and treatment. And in most cases, I recommend that my clients go to a neuropsychologist for neuropsychological testing. Here's tip number 2. Hire an attorney who has experience in handling brain injury cases. Now, I say that because brain-injured individuals look normal in most cases and appear to be healthy. And when you walk into a courtroom in front of a jury or a judge, if it comes down to that, it's hard to get across to them the fact that this individual's life has been changed forever. They look healthy. They look normal. So a lawyer with experience in handling brain injury cases knows how to get across to the jury, get across to the judge, or even before that, get across to the insurance adjuster that his or her client is truly brain injured, has a traumatic brain injury that is changing their life forever. So it's very important that you find a lawyer with actual experience in handling a number of brain injury cases. Now here's tip number 3. Not all lawyers are created equal. There are a lot of lawyers who have very little, if any, trial experience. They may look good on paper, they may look good on television, but they don't really have a lot of trial experience. And it's important for you to find a lawyer who is actually experienced in trying cases, not because you're necessarily going to have to try your case. The overwhelming majority of cases settle out of court before trial. But it's important that you have a lawyer who's experienced in trying cases because the other side, the insurance company, knows that your lawyer is capable of beating them in the right case, and therefore they're more likely to take your case seriously. Now, I strongly recommend that you look for an attorney who's board certified in trial law. As a practical matter, very few lawyers are board certified. It takes a lot of testing, a lot of experience, recommendations from other attorneys and recommendations from judges in order to become board certified. In my case, I was board certified in both civil trial and personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. If you or a loved one has suffered a brain injury, give our office a call today and we can discuss what options you might have. I can't undo what has happened to you. However, you may be entitled to compensation for what you've been through. Give me a call today and we can have a free and confidential chat.